everybody. I'm doing an Ascension energy update today. It's a really difficult time for a lot of people, and I think messages to just guide us through difficult times. And one thing I find is when life gets really tough, sometimes you just have to persevere through it. There's literally nothing you can do but just persevere through it. The mind wants to find a solution, it wants to find an explanation, it wants to figure this out because it wants to rise above the pain, right? Sometimes we have to go through moments of pain um, in order to get to the other side of that. A human ascension is a painful process. It's like the birthing process. You have to go through a transformation. You have to be broken down and transformed into something new, which is a higher vibrational being. And sometimes it's just hard, you know? Sometimes it's just hard. And life gives us the lessons that we need at just the right time to transform into the next phase, into the next experience. Just do the best you can. You know, that's all you can ever do. Sometimes I think about people who are starving to death is their life lesson. To know what it is like to starve to death, there's nothing they can do to change that. They have to persevere that reality until they die of starvation. So sometimes in life, it's going to feel like there's no way out of this, and you're just going to have to persevere through it. On the other side of this is the light at the end of the tunnel, okay? There is a light at the end of this tunnel. So do the best that you can. That's all you can do. The best that you can, and be patient with yourself. Slow down as much as you can. And be kind to your body, okay? Take some naps if you need some naps. Watch some TV if that helps. You know, take a walk. Whatever you need to do to persevere. I mean, there's a lot going on. I'm having struggles myself. I did the zodiac energy readings. I've done them all. I haven't shared the last 4. I will be sharing those soon. But I'm an Aries, and the Aries message was Aries was releasing a lot from the heart. So that Aries has been going through this this focused, conquering, passionate path in a way, but has been avoiding working through certain lessons of the heart. And that's going to be coming out in this month of November. So what have I been experiencing this month of November? Odd bursts of emotional, just crying for no real explainable reason. Laughing hysterically and then crying. But this is happening a lot, and I'm tired. I'm more worn out than normal. And I'm finding that I need sound. I need more music. I need more almost like interactions coming to me while I lay down and just either take a nap if I can take a nap. I just do everything that I can to just honor the fact that I'm going through something. My mind can't understand it. My mind cannot figure this out. I could say, well, there's a lot going on in the world today. I am a pillar of light here to transmute negative energy just by being myself. Even if I wasn't making videos for YouTube and all that, I am transmuting negative energy just simply by being here. What is the point of my existence? Just to be a supportive soul here for planet Earth. You could go on from there and say, well, to make messages, to share perspective, to help other souls through whatever they're going through. If there's something that I've learned that might help you, I think there's point to that in my existence. Helping other souls is something that I like to do, right? And when I help other souls, I help myself. I feel like I shine brighter, you know? But I'm here to help clear the negative energy. So I could say, well, maybe there's just a lot going on in our collective, and I'm just really sensing that right now. Yeah, I definitely feel that's part of this. But there's other lessons that I'm going through, and it's all kind of like a train wreck of things happening at the same time. But it's perfect timing. It's perfect. Sometimes when it gets really hard, it's like, man, why does it have to be this? When it rains, it pours. Like, why does it have to be so much at one time? Because it has to be that way. That is the way to get to those root parts of yourself that are having a hard time being reached. And now they're slowing you down. They're crying. They are hurt. It is confusing. All you do is just let it be. Just let it be. Don't feel like don't try to judge it, okay? I've been doing journeys into this stuff. Um, and yeah, I mean, I can heal it, but some of it just time will heal it. Life will heal it. Some of it just needs to cry, some of it just needs to have these responses. I found, over the years and doing lots of sessions for people, that we are a conscious mind, right? So our conscious mind sees, it wants, it thinks, it believes, it all these things, okay? Now, beneath this conscious mind, there are other personas of ourself that have influence. They're vulnerable, they're crying, they are not heard. Their childhood selves, their memories, their so many different dynamics of our identity. I explain it to people like this. You ever try to make a decision? And it could be, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? It could be, should I leave this job or should I stay with this job? You're going to have many versions of perspective on that. It's going to feel like, like going around and around in this loop in your mind. But if you explore your many emotional selves, you're going to find a self that is terrified of what could happen if you leave this job, or, really like, do I have to have pizza again? Can't you get it together and go, cook a decent meal for once? You're going to have parts of yourself that are emotional, that are going to have opinions about things. They're going to be hurt. They're going to be confused. They're going to be insecure. They're going to be angry. They're going to be scared. They're going to be all kinds of stuff. And then you're going to have some of those selves that are like super motherly, super flexible, super it's okay either way. These are all parts of you too. These are all aspects of your totality that you have to work through with every moment in life. Well, some of these have been hurt along the way. And it's hard sometimes to like know how to reach them, how to neutralize those hurts. Even for me, I can go in there and it's like, I have no idea how to do this. A couple nights ago, I was woken up in the middle of the night, and apparently I don't know, it was some kind of wingworm or something. His name was like Wingworm or something. And all of a sudden, I'm like possessed by this entity, and I see there's eyes behind my own eyes looking through my eyes. And it's like, oh God, do I really have to deal with this at 2:30 in the morning? Yes, I do. Okay. So then I had to just send this away. But I couldn't just send this away. I sent it away, no problem. But what attracted that? An aspect of myself that has felt neglected, that has felt beaten down, that has been in sorrow for a long time, and literally wanted me to die. I mean, this part of me did. And so it's like, how am I supposed to help all these parts of me? I have to have moments like Wingworm in order to access them. So thankfully that happened, right? And I spent an hour in the middle of the night actually nurturing this version of myself and helping this version of myself to return to a place of love. Like, what do you do when you have selves that have given up, that don't care anymore, that don't care anymore about this world, about the human race, about anything? They're so far gone that no matter what you do, they don't hear you, they don't listen, they don't know how to, it's hard to shift them back. It's almost like life has to prove something to them. So what do you do with those parts of yourself? How do you work on those parts of yourself? Because I didn't come here to just give up on the world. What about all the other parts of me that aren't doing that? I'm telling you, every human being is this way. It's not just me, and this is my weird special way that I am. Every person is this way. I'm just ultra self-observant. I'm just ultra sensitive to this stuff. That I became aware of this, and I'm starting to work through this. However, I don't really know how all the time because there's just so many parts of me. I'm an infinite collective of personalities, you know what I mean? Anyway, I was watching some YouTube video. It was several weeks ago. I thought it was so interesting. And it's kind of vaguely on my mind. But a girl who had gone through trauma and she had a collective of versions of herself that she would switch, and that version of herself would speak through her, and then she would switch and be the next version, and she had versions of herself to help her through any time in her life. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Though, like, it sounds like a spirit guide working directly through, but I'm aware of the collective selves. I'm aware of how this works. I don't just choose a collective self, though, to be an identity to support me through an experience where I can interact with that part of me. I have this, like, I'm in control, but the control of my helm, sometimes these collective selves make choices that attract experiences that I have now to go through, to process, to work through all this. So I have a lot of collective selves that are really loud right now. They're crying, they're in pain, and it's just like, it's like walking into a room of 50 screaming babies. Like, what do? I do journeys into it. I let them cry. I cry with them. We watch Star Trek. I eat ice cream and pizza. I nap when I need to nap, I have life. You have life too. So it's important to remember that when we have vulnerable times, these vulnerable times are helping us through what is a release, a nurture of self. It's getting our attention. We're making other choices to try to support whatever this is to come back to a place of balance, right? But we still have to work through life as well. Like, you can't just exit the door and turn your back on your life. You have to keep working through it, even during these hard times. So what I do is I set my baggage on the side. I have responsibilities. So there's time for this. And I try to give as much time as I can, because this is kind of an event to me. This is loud enough that it is an event to me. So I give it as much time as I can. And I treat myself as though I'm like somebody who's sick and needs to rest more, needs to take a vacation from the world more, who needs to have downtime more. So as much as you can, then do that, right? But then you have to come back to the world, and then you have to decide that there's time that I need to be practical again, time that I need to focus again. So I'm working on this balance, right? And this stuff comes and goes. Right now it's hard. Next week it'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff comes and goes. But there is a lot going on in the world today. So I know that some of what this isn't just me. It's the world today. It's the human race. It's the United States. It's coronavirus. It's all this stuff. And I don't have to be in the thick of it in my mind to feel it in my heart, because I'm a part of the one heart of the human race. So I'm here to also be a pillar to transmute as much of the suffering that's going on in the world as I can, just by being myself. Just by going about a normal day today, So I felt inspired to say all that stuff. I was going to do a journey into the energies, but maybe that was my journey, just to talk about all this stuff. I'll just pause for a moment and close my eyes. Let's just take a look into the energies real quick. Okay, well, the first thing that I walk into is a doorway, and the door is jammed, and it's full of black mold. Black mold that's grown so thick that you can't exactly walk through the doorway. It's actually so thick that it's not easy to even break it down, to disintegrate it. Like, it's a problem. It's a real problem. I mean, it's an infection, it's a sickness, it's a lot. And I sit down in front of this door and I wait. And the door starts to develop like a mucus now. And it sort of inhales and exhales, and there's a weird bubble that kind of forms, and it gets big and then it gets small again. And I see that all this needs is a water, and I get a hose and I just start hosing it down and cleaning up this mess. And as I clean up the mess, and for some reason it's almost like the black mold and the mucus absorbs what is the healthy water and transforms it into something gross. And it's interesting because I think of the element of fire now, and it's like, well, maybe this just needs to get burned away. It's almost like whatever that you put upon this problem, it absorbs it and becomes worse. It's like no matter what you do to heal it, it just absorbs it and becomes worse. I say, what if that's what the problem wants us to see, us to believe? What if that's what the frequency and the noise is wanting us all to feel that way? Like the problems of the world are never going to go away. They're just going to absorb whatever treatment and then get worse. And there's no way through this door. It's just completely blocked, and we're all just going to have to sit here and suffer with it. It's like, how many people do you know hold on to pain with every tooth and nail, will fight for their pain, will force other people to follow suit with their beliefs because they're so convincing. But all it is a weakness. And the benevolence just patiently waits and patiently works through it while they're being ripped apart and destroyed. And some of this feels like a clash. I keep hearing Clash of Clans. Clash of Clans. Benevolence, patience, unconditional love, and pain and suffering and the demons of the world that nobody wants to let go of, that is intertwined with those demons. Manipulation, not being self-aware, not working on oneself with those who actually are trying, who are being patient. But it's just so hard here, you know? So I just accept the black mold. And the point of my existence is just simply to be here. That means I'm going to be here with all the black mold. If I can't make it go away, if I can't be the solution, if I can't be the healer for it, I'll just at least be here. And that's what makes me powerful. That's what makes me strongest of all. Is when I set purpose and the point of my existence on the side and just say I exist. And that's what makes me the brightest, most meaningful thing in this universe. Is that I exist. I choose to be here, and I'm just going to stand here then. It's interesting because it shifts our perspective of power. I'm the type of person where I will I put power into my own hands, and I work with finding solutions to anything. Because everything, there's a solution to literally everything, and we have the power. So I don't believe that I don't have the power. Even if my life is threatened, I can still be a symbol of what I stand for, which is love, patience, support, like expanding the gifts of what it is to be the spirit of a human being. Just a loving person, as best as I can be. Right? Nobody can take your spirit away from you. Nobody can take your power away from you. You can give up, and you can give it up. But you don't have to. You can just simply stand here and just say, you know what, the best I can be is just simply here right now, And that can be very powerful. It's not whether you have a solution or you don't have a solution. It's not about my purpose is or I exist to do this work. It's just simply I exist. Somehow a shifting of the power back to something simple and beautiful and true is more powerful than any of this other stuff that's out there. You got to take away all the words. You got to take away all the headers. You got to take away all the accusations. You got to take away all the perspective of this side or that side. You got to step back and just say, you know what? I exist. And I'm not a part of the fight. I'm not a part of these lessons that are other people's lessons, because my lesson is just transmuted in this truth, this simple truth that I exist. And that's the only truth that I need right now. And that's the truth that then heals all the parts of me. Because I don't need parts that don't know how to live anymore. Because why would it ever feel that way? Too much responsibility, too much feeling like failures of life, dreams that have never come true, that I can't just keep living like this anymore. Giving up. Why do we ever give up? So to bring the pillar back to I exist, now I don't need to explain anything from the past, hope for anything in the future. I can just be present in this powerful truth that I exist. And that's it. That's it. So again, that's just it. All right. That's all the message I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope this message helps you. And thank you all for watching. If any of you are interested in exploring a psychic session with me, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. You can check out my other 2 YouTube channels. One is Zodiac Energy Readings. The other is Abbey Psychic Services. I'm also on Patreon at patreon.com/abbeynormalswisdomquest. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a nice rest of your day.